This is a completely dark room with no lights on whatsoever, and it does a really good job at bringing in light, but there is also a lot of grain and pixelation to the image. It does a decent job of bringing some colour to the picture considering how dark it is, but like all cameras, you will want to use some lighting. Bringing in natural light, and this is a massive improvement. The movement looks as though we are getting the advertised 30 frames per second. I'm not seeing any warping of the image either, which you usually get when you have a wide field of view. Dropping the resolution to 1080p and comparing it against the 1440p, and there's not too much in the way of difference, maybe slightly crisper on the 1440p, but it's hardly noticeable. Using a ring light, and again it's an improvement to the image. Movement looks as though we're still hitting around those 30 frames per second, but we do look a little overexposed when we come extremely close to the ring light, but it looks good when we are a normal distance away. Once again, the 1440p and 1080p look very similar in image quality. If you can spot the difference between the two, then please let us know in the comments. Focusing on a small object, and it did look as though it struggled to focus. Once it did focus, then it looked good, with it creating a blurry background, which is quite nice. We had better results when we moved it close and further away quickly, with it regaining focus in around a second or so. If you want to focus on text, then it is best to have a large font, because the autofocus really did struggle on that small text with it blurring, but it does seem to work well on those larger letters. Loading up OBS and using the chroma key filter to remove our green screen, and it produced a really good key, and we even had our special guest arrive just to make sure that green screen was fully removed. We double checked it once she decided to jump onto my shoulder, and the green screen was removed as it should have been. We did notice that if we go into the configure video on OBS and we untick the box for the exposure, we can't move that slider at all, so you are stuck with the auto exposure on this. You can digitally zoom if you find that the field of view is too wide, but we'll talk more about the field of view shortly. Using it in a more realistic scenario with us sitting next to the window and some lights behind us, and this is using the widest field of view of 115 degrees. It looks okay. There are times when it looks as though it loses the focus a little on our face. Switching on the ring light, and this does improve the image, but we are getting slightly overexposed from the light, and there is no way of adjusting this. It does come with an inbuilt microphone, and this is what it sounds like. This is a microphone test of the Anker C302 webcam. Not sure if you can hear my cat purring. Can we hear it? This is the kind of audio you can expect from this webcam. It does recommend that we install Ankerwork from the Anker website, and this software allows us to customise a few things. The resolution can be changed, but bear in mind that you are stuck with 30 frames per second no matter which resolution you select. The field of view can be changed with the options of 78 degrees, 90 degrees and 115 degrees. Auto framing will automatically adjust the field of view to fit you into the shot if you have multiple people with you. The solo frame tracks just your movements, so if you move to one side of the frame or further away, then it will do its best to keep you in the shot. We found this to be a little hit and miss, and sometimes it works fine, and other times you can move to the side of the frame and it just wouldn't track at all. There are presets available which are customizable mode, where you can select the field of view or framing yourself, and then there's personal, streaming and meeting mode, where if you select one of these, then the options automatically get selected for you. HDR can be enabled, and this brought more vibrance to the colours on ourselves and in the room, but if you have a light in the background like us, then you may experience the same flickering that we did. We enabled the anti-flicker and changed from 60Hz to 50Hz, but the flickering remained until we disabled HDR. We also get the options to change the brightness, sharpness, saturation and contrast ratio if you want to tweak the overall image, and we can horizontally flip if required. If you want to use these settings in OBS, then you will need to set them up first in Ankerwork and then close the application down and load up OBS, because if you try to load up Ankerwork once OBS is already loaded, then you will get an error message and Ankerwork just won't load up. This is quite an expensive webcam, with it coming in at £129.99 in the UK at the time of this review. We have reviewed the Anker Powerconf C302 model, which is currently available for £99, but this has dropped down to as low as £64.99 in the past. This can only do 1080 1080p, but you do get 60 frames per second, and to be honest, I don't see much of an improvement with the latest C302 model, so I would personally go with the C300 over the 302 and make use of those extra frames. The C302 comes with 2 privacy covers in the box, a USB-C to USB-A converter, a removable USB-C to USB-C cable, the head can be tilted forwards, and there is 300 degrees rotation on the head. And there is bad news if you want to use Windows Hello, because this webcam is not compatible.